So today I'm doing a little bit of a different kind of like first impression slash dupe video. I was inspired to do this idea because I commented on one of Tati's WTF, you know, her like really super ridiculously expensive foundation first impression videos. I commented that I thought it would be really fun to see if she would do like a blind first impressions. James could go away with a really expensive foundation and a super affordable drugstore foundation, and if he could kind of squeeze them both out, give them back to Tati, and I thought if she could try one out on either side of her face and then say which one she thought was the best without having the bias of knowing which one is the most expensive one and which one's the cheapest one. I thought it would be really interesting to see if there would be a huge difference. You're testing out a foundation that you know is more expensive. I think obviously you've got higher expectations, but also I think you're naturally going to be a bit more biased. Not saying Tati's biased. I love Tati. I think she's honest and genuine and really fair. I just feel like it's human nature that we're maybe a bit more suspicious of the cheaper foundations. Tati's not done it yet, and I don't think she even saw my comment, but I just thought, well, do you know what? I've thought of this, so why don't I just do it? So I'm going to do it. I've been scrolling the internet looking for lists of dupes. I don't have a lot of money to spend on like £200 La Mer foundation. And also I was limited because I didn't want to be trying out foundations that I had already tried and that I was very familiar with. So I landed on this dupe. Okay, so the dupe that I finally decided on, and believe me, it took ages for me to come to this decision. L'Oreal Lumi Magique foundation. This is meant to be a dupe for the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. Also, this was just a really great excuse to actually buy the Luminous Silk foundation, which I've been really wanting to try for ages. So, bonus. Apparently, these are dupes of each other. I'm going to put that to the test today in a blind first impression. In a minute, I'm going to give these to Honeys. He's going to go away. He's going to pump them both out for me. And then I'm just going to apply them to either side of my face, not knowing, hopefully not knowing which one is which. I have used the Lumi Magique foundation in the past. I've not used it for absolutely ages now, like we're talking years, and this is a brand new bottle, so can't remember what it smells like. I've never smelt this one, so I've not even taken this one out of the box to have a look at the shade because I feel like, I don't know, I've just not looked at it. So I'm going to hand these over to Honeys now, and then we will begin our blind dupes. I don't know what this is going to be called, like blind, is it a dupe, blind first impression test, which one wears best, I don't know, but the whole kind of synopsis of this video. So anyway, Honeys! Okay, so I gave Honeys the bottles. I told him to squirt out a generous, but not too much, because I don't want to be wasting any of the Armani, let's face it. So anyway, I told him to squeeze out what he thought would be a sufficient amount, and also to put a little marker on the palette so that he knew which one was which, because otherwise, you know, that'd be a nightmare. So he told me to put the one with the dinosaur on the right hand side of my face, and then this one on the left hand side of my face. Look, dinosaur sticker really, and the dinosaur looks super like suspicious, like he's looking behind him as if to say, hey, what's going on? I'm not up to anything. It's fine, honestly. I'm just doing my thing, being a dinosaur. Stuck a dinosaur sticker on there. Thanks for that, Honeys. This is going to go on the left of my face. This one, left face, right side of the face, okay? I'm going to be super scientific. Our little samples to cross-contaminate. So I'm going to use a different beauty blender for each side of my face. Begin with the one where the dinosaur was. And this was going on the left-hand side of my face, which is this side. Okay. Okay. Now, just to give you a little bit of info, the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation is £37. And I think, yeah, that's for a 1 fluid ounce bottle. And then the L'Oreal is £10.99. And again, it's for 1 fluid ounce, which is the kind of standard. Doesn't really have a smell to it. It's looking It's looking nice. I would say possibly the shade isn't quite my shade, so I'm secretly hoping this one is not the Armani one, because I don't want to have spent all that money and to have come out with the wrong shade. That would be so disappointing, wouldn't it? Okay, so I mean, this one's going on nicely with the Beauty Blender. It does look a slight bit chalky potentially. But yeah, the reason why these are apparently dupes for one another is that they're both meant to be incredibly lightweight and weightless, which are the same thing. I don't know why I felt the need to put weightless in there. They're also supposed to give you like a silky kind of luminous finish. So it seems to be quite, you know, a well-known fact that these are dupes for each other, or that's what everyone seems to say. So we are going to see today if they are in fact dupes for each other, or if they're not dupes, how do they compare? How does the $10.99 L'Oreal foundation stand up to the $37.99 Armani foundation? I don't think I've ever bought anything Armani in my life, so I feel very swanky right now indeed. And this could even be the Armani right now. I mean, it's looking nice actually. It's not like a dewy finish, but then it's definitely not matte. You can see the light kind of bouncing off my skin, which I am a fan of. So yeah, so I think that's done on that side. So I'm just going to move on to the other side. So this is the side that didn't have the dinosaur on it, that I was instructed to put on my right hand side. Okay, so I get the feeling that both of these shades actually look very similar indeed. Just on the little palette here, I would say that this one that I'm applying now looked, I'd say a couple of shades maybe lighter than the first one. But on my face, it's actually looking pretty similar, which is a huge relief because I'm actually going out after I've done this. I'm basically going to be wearing these foundations all throughout the day, and then I'll be doing check-ins to let you know what I think, how they're both wearing. At some point during the day, I'll ask Honeys to announce which one is which so we can actually find out. Again, this one doesn't have any scent to it at all. Neither of them have any kind of scent. I'd say so far, I mean, they're looking extremely similar indeed. I would say this one's possibly a little bit lighter, which is a good thing because it probably does match me a bit more. I'd say this one is a little bit more kind of warmer toned. This one just looks to be a bit more of my shade. I'd also say I feel like this side has a bit more coverage than this side. But they both have that kind of, you know, luminous kind of look to them. Particularly this side. Both of them went on very much the same. Noticing any difference whatsoever in the actual application. Both of them seem to just have melted into my skin without much fuss. I do feel like this one is a bit more liquidy. It doesn't feel quite as kind of a thicker consistency as this one, but both of them are pretty liquidy, but I can tell that this one just feels a bit more kind of, just a bit more liquidy on the liquid scale. Both of these foundations are meant to be medium coverage, but you both claim that you can build them up. Other than the fact that the shades are slightly different, the foundation on this side was more liquidy. Other than those 2 points, I wouldn't know that I'd put two different foundations on. They actually look very similar. This side here, my pores do look slightly more kind of visible. Not a huge amount. I would say as well that on this side, my fine lines do look slightly more visible as well. Okay, so I've done the rest of my makeup now, and I've just noticed my beauty blenders appear to be having some kind of beauty blender convention in the background of my video. I don't think so, guys. Come on. This is a professional presentation here, beauty blenders. You can have your convention over there. Anyway, so I've applied the rest of my makeup now, and I mean, I've literally been staring at myself in the mirror like this, looking at both sides, and to me, I can't see any difference whatsoever. Now that I put the rest of my makeup on, and I've tried to keep it quite like low key. Put any highlight on, just like a pop of like a natural pink blush and a bit of contour. I've not set my face with any powder, just so that we can really see how both of the foundations perform and stand up to the test of time. I just wanted to try and keep it as natural as possible so that we could really just review the foundation's performance here. Both sides, to me, just look extremely similar. Even the shades now aren't obviously different in any way. I would definitely say at a push that my fine lines just here and my pores around the side of my nose on this side are slightly more visible. Hardly any difference. The finish on both sides is like the same. Like, you wouldn't look at me, I don't think, and say, has that girl got 2 different foundations on her face? Like, why would she do that? Is she crazy? I mean, well, I am crazy, but you know, but they don't know that we're like doing a big blind test at the moment. I'd have to explain to them, look, I know you may think I've got 2 foundations on my face right now, but I'm doing a blind test. And then I'd go on and over explain, and it would just be so awkward. You would not be able to tell. Like, they won't be able to tell anyway, because my face just looks like I've got 1 foundation on the entire face. You see my spots are kind of peeping through there. But, I mean, maybe actually a bit more of a lighter coverage on this side, but it's tough because did I put the same amount on each side? Who knows? I mean, there's only so much science we can take into account, I feel, with this rather amateur scientific test. So anyway, I'm just going to go through the rest of my day, and I'm going to do check-ins. At some point, I'm going to ask honeys to let me know which one was which so that we can do like the big reveal. If I had to say so far, I would say that I think this side, the right-hand side, is the Armani foundation. Side looks a bit more flawless. That's the only reason why. Whereas I feel like this side is just a touch heavier, leaning very kind of warm toned, which falls in line with what I know about L'Oreal. So my thoughts right now. I'll be back soon and I'll give you a little update. I don't want this video to be like a million years long, so I'm going to keep it quite snappy if I can. I say that and that's never going to happen, is it? But anyway, I'll be back soon and I shall let you know how they're both holding up and what my thoughts are. But at this point in time, I would definitely say that they're very similar indeed. So anyway, we shall see. I will just give you a little close-up of like both sides so you can see. So this left-hand side, and we're coming round to the front. Okay, and then this is the right-hand side. Okay, so there we go. That's the starting point. We shall see. We shall see what we think. Hi, so I'm back. It's kind of like hours later at this point. I know I said that I would do check-ins, but we've been so busy all day. It's a Sunday today and I had to go into work because we've got this ongoing leak. If you follow me on Snapchat, you may have heard and seen about the leak. So I had to go back into the office today to go check how the basement was doing. It was very exciting. Not. So the day's gone on. I've had the foundations on my face now for, I'd say, I mean, I put them on at about 10:30 this morning and it's now almost 4 o'clock. So it's been a while. I spoke to honeys and I said, honeys, okay, you can tell me which is which. Okay, so I can confirm I was correct. This side here, which is this one, is the, what's it called? Emporio Armani. I was thinking Emporio. That's not the name. This is the Armani £37 foundation. And here we've got the L'Oreal. So the slightly darker one was the L'Oreal foundation, which I've got on this side of my face. So that wasn't really a huge surprise. Okay, so my thoughts are that these foundations are very similar indeed. By the way, I didn't tell you the shades. I forgot. I was thinking, Amwyn, you didn't even mention the shades. Okay, so in the Armani one, I just kind of eyeballed all the different shades that were online and I picked number 2, which I think is perfect. It's a really good match for me. And then in the L'Oreal, I've got Rose Pearl. Pink is one of the lighter shades anyway, and it's okay, but maybe a tad too dark. However, I don't think you can tell. Can you tell that I've got 2 different shades of foundation on? I think that the L'Oreal is a dupe for the Armani. Yes, I do. I think we can call it a certified dupe. It has a very similar finish to it. It's not dewy, but it's kind of glowy. It just gives you like a medium natural coverage. It's not kind of cakey looking in any way. Both of them are very natural and silky looking. Silky? Yeah, silky. I'm going with silky. Why not? I'm just going with it. That's what they've described both foundations as, and I would agree. They're both silky. Both sides feel really comfortable. I've not noticed any difference in, you know, I think it'd be difficult to say though, wouldn't it, if one side feels heavier than the other? Like that I don't know if I'd even detect that, but my entire face just feels very comfortable at the moment. Powder, both sides seem to have held up very well. However, the side that is L'Oreal, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but I've noticed it is starting to kind of come off on my nose slightly, and also it has sunk into my pores. I don't know how well you can see, but it's kind of sunk into my pores around my nose, and it is kind of, you know, when it sinks into your pores and then you get like little white dots. It's definitely doing that on the L'Oreal side. Let me just double check again. I've not got any of that going on here. It looks really, really good and smooth over my pores on the Armani side. Also, I don't know if you can you see there, that line? That's the L'Oreal side. I do definitely feel like the Armani foundation is better. Like, I definitely think it's kind of lasted better on my skin. Also done a better job of smoothing out my pores and my fine lines. Just in general, the Armani one has done a better job. Is it £26 more worth? Does that make any sense at all? I think I'm going to jump off that sentence right now and do a 3-point turn and go back down the road before I did the sentence. How can I put this? Is it worth £26 more though to have this look? And I would probably say yes. For me it would be, because I do struggle with pores and fine lines. So for me, I think I would be willing to pay the £26 extra for this foundation. However, if you have better skin than I do and you don't really struggle with fine lines or pores, I feel like if you don't have much to cover up, then maybe you wouldn't want to spend the £26, and I don't really think you'd notice all that much difference. Definitely call these two dupes. Would I call them both dupes? No, I wouldn't. Sorry, I would only call the L'Oreal one a dupe. Also, this is the first time I've ever used the Luminous Silk foundation, so I've really enjoyed it. I may just kind of wear it. Well, I may. Of course I'm going to wear it a few more times. I'm not just putting you in my drawer of regret. That would just be a crime against foundations. I'm going to be wearing this one now. So I will come back and give you a full kind of proper review on it. But I've really liked it. It's been great. I also really like the Lumi Magique one. And I think if you're on a budget, just go for this one. It's not really, you know, miles apart. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this review. I hope that it's been useful to you. I think once again, it just goes to show that you can buy really great foundations from the drugstore. The Armani one I do think is a bit better. It performs a bit better. I'm going to go now. Why did that sound so weird? I hope you're having a lovely day, whatever it is you're doing. Or aware of any dupes out there that you would like me to test, whether it be foundation, whether it be eyeshadow, lipstick, whatever it may be. Don't make it something too expensive, please. Just joking. I'm totally not joking, please. Not too expensive. Don't be coming at me with like Lancome or Guerlain or Marc Jacobs, Tom Ford. Just something like reasonable, a reasonable dupe suggestion. I could look into it for you and I would love to. I'm going to go now. Bye.